This podcast is part of the Everyday Heroes Podcast Network, the network for first responders and those who support them.
Okay.
Hi.
Scissors and Scrubs. I'm Nicole.
Laura.
And this is going to be another installment of Ripped from the Headlines.
Ripped
from the Headlines. Because literally, we're constantly getting... I don't know, I must look at this shit all the time because on Facebook, I'm constantly getting bear attacks, bison attacks. So I just keep getting them every day.
Yeah.
So we're talking about things that we have read that have happened since we have talked about these things on the podcast.
Like we warned you.
Yeah. And then this one, she must have listened to the podcast because her actions kept her from getting seriously mauled.
Yeah, maybe one of mine too.
So I'm going first?
Sure.
Okay. NBC News. Hunter mauled by bear.
Uh-oh.
September 9th, 2021.
Oh, this is like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jason Long, 39, of Eagle River, Alaska, was alone near Chisana River.
Okay.
He was attacked by a mother bear protecting her two cubs. He was able to use a distress signal that brought the Air National Guard.
Wow.
They found him with lacerations and puncture wounds, but no life-threatening injuries.
Oh my god.
And the bear was not killed, as she was doing what bears do best, protecting her babies. And that follows an August 24th, 2021 attack of a 55-year-old tourist who was hiking in dense fog in Denali National Park.
Oof.
He's going through the thoroughfare pass when a mother bear charged him from behind some bushes.
Ooh.
He was smart and brought bucking bear spray with him.
There you go.
So he used the bear spray on the bear, and it is believed that this is what cut the attack short. He had puncture wounds to his calf, his ribs, and his shoulders, and still walked 1.5 miles to the local visitor center, where a quote-unquote medical personnel, "Hi, I'm a nurse, what can I do?
Yeah.
I'm a nurse," treated him, and 911 was called.
Yeah.
Again, they did not go after the bear, as she was doing what bears do.
Mm-hmm.
Over to you.
Well, I have a bear story I'll go with, I
love
guess.
bears.
I like this article. It's by Joe Kahlo, Kahlo, from June 11th.
Which makes me think of my cousin Vinny. Jerry Callow.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. You know, like, every word of that.
Because I love that movie. One of my faves.
So it's actually a video online. Headline is Wild Black Bear Casually Joins Family Picnic and Demands PB&J Sandwiches.
But he literally does casually join.
You have to watch this video. It's
You do have to watch the video because it's fucking hysterical.
Maybe we'll post. Maybe we can post
and there's
it.
no way I would be as calm as those people.
No. So, a family that was on vacation at a remote woodland area in Maryland came across a friendly black bear who decided to join them in their picnic.
His name was Yogi.
So, this video was posted via TikTok by Caitlin Nesbitt. And you can see a black bear sat down on the edge of the picnic table. He was calmly and patiently waiting for a peanut butter sandwich, which one of the men fed him straight out of his hand. Nesbitt, the girl who took the TikTok, was among the onlookers, gasping in disbelief as they watched the moment in Deep Creek near where her family are staying in a cabin. The group continued to make sandwiches for the bear, who sat with them as if one of the gang.
They're literally sitting at a picnic table.
And he's sitting.
And he's at the end of the picnic table. And they're not fucking moving. And they say, well, they didn't move because it would have startled the bear. Gone. I'd have been gone. Bye-bye.
It was a good choice, though, because it kept him calm. But
yeah.
This was a friend's cabin, and they said that the bear is always around and never really bothers them.
Unless he wants peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah. Some of our group are used to being out in the wild, so we were all told to not make sudden movements and stay where we were. Most of us were scared to death and filmed from the deck, but the brave tested their luck. The bear had emerged from the trees looking for food before joining the group of 4 men and a woman having a picnic on one of the tables. The group were enjoying a drink and some snacks while nervously looking at the hungry animal waiting to be served its food.
Never. One
of the men decided to get a loaf of bread while pointing his finger and telling the bear to wait while he gets the sandwich ready, just like he would a dog.
Yep.
In the video, you can hear onlookers say, "This is a fucking joke, right?" When the sandwich is ready, the man holds it up in front of the bear, who slowly takes it from his hand. They even hid the snack of bears in case the bear set his eyes on a refreshing drink.
I'll have a beer with that, please. Thank
Eventually, the mama just walked right back into the wood unharmed.
That's bad. That's really bad.
You shouldn't feed. We went over this. You don't feed them.
Dead bears or a dead bear.
Because then they're going to have to be killed because they're going to get too comfortable, so it's bad for the bear.
Because he's going to go to somebody else who's not prepared for this and going to freak out and he might attack.
He's going to attack them. But it was a very nice, patient bear sitting at that picnic table.
Oh my God.
So
it's something to see. It is something to see. So this past weekend, my oldest went to Six Flags, New England. And I was like, how'd you do it? What'd you think? Did you go on the Superman ride? Because I remember the Superman ride thing. He's like, yeah. He goes, you know somebody died on that? I'm like, what? He goes, somebody died on that roller coaster.
This year?
No.
Oh.
And my husband was like, yeah, somebody died on that. Didn't remember it. So we're going way back because I had to look it up, and this is why I picked the story. Okay. Clearly, we weren't around then, Laura. I was much, much younger. It was May 2nd of 2004. This comes out of the Boston Globe. Staniel J. Morbarsk of Bloomfield, Connecticut, was thrown from the Superman ride of steel and killed. Quote, the train was pulling in on its last turn to go into the train station and disembarked. He somehow came out of the car and was killed. People say, quote, Morbarski started spinning like a frisbee and hit the rail, bam, and fell to the ground. I didn't continue the quote because it was long, but they literally, so the roller coaster immediately stops. Everybody screaming, crying, somebody fell out, and they look and he's dead by the fence.
Oh, God.
They had just inspected the roller coaster. Nobody to this day knows how this fucking guy ended up out of the roller coaster.
Oh, my God.
But he hit the embankment on the way in. Ew. So, done. And this roller coaster goes 75 miles an hour. 70, 85 miles an hour. So, keep your arms and legs inside the ride, ladies and gentlemen.
Please.
Don't go spinning like a frisbee outside.
Oh,
it's bad.
Always double check. I'm like a nut, and I'm a nut. So, but my mother used to do this. So when you get on a ride, they check, and then they come around and check with the bars down. Check it. I pull against it. I push it. I make my kids do it.
I am at the point, Laura, you can't even see my head above the seat because I've sunk so low because I'm afraid, I told you, we went to Space Mountain. I forgot how terrifying it is because it's an indoor metal roller coaster. And I'm convinced I'm going to get decapitated.
I know.
So I'm
ducking.
huddled down underneath, yelling at the kids, get your arms in! Get your arms in! We're all going to die! Why do I go on these things? They're not fun for me anymore. I don't enjoy them. Go ahead.
Okay, on that amusement park thing, I'll do this one. This is an article by John Hayworth and Ivan Pereira from July 5th this year.
Uh-oh.
An 11-year-old boy dead, 3 injured after raft overturns on water ride at amusement park.
Oh my God, I didn't hear this.
I didn't either. And I'm pretty sure we talked about this amusement park in our water ride amusement park.
So the one with that Wunderbund?
I'm not sure. It's Adventureland. I'm pretty sure we talked about this in Iowa. This park, not this kid. Parents speak out after 11-year-old was killed in an amusement park accident. A boy is dead, another child is in critical condition after a raft overturned on a water ride at an amusement park. The accident occurred at 7:35 p.m. on Saturday, right before July 4th weekend, at Adventureland Park in Altoona, Iowa, when a boat on the Raging River ride overturned with 6 riders on it.
Holy shit.
3 of the passengers were rushed to the hospital in critical condition, while a 4th passenger suffered minor injuries, the Altoona Police Department said. 11-year-old Michael, I'm so sorry, I'm not going to, Jaramillo, Jaramillo, died on Sunday as a result of his injuries. Another juvenile was still in critical condition as of this report. They were on the fire and police were on the property responding immediately, the Adventureland Park said in its initial statement. We want to thank them as well as the Des Moines, Ankeny, Bondurant, Pleasant Hill, and Delaware Township Emergency Services for their fast response. So they sent everybody in to respond to this. Adventureland Park said the ride had been inspected the day before and was found to be in good working order at the time of the accident. The Raging River ride obviously remained closed for further inspection.
I wonder what happened.
It doesn't say. They just said that the investigation was ongoing. The ride obviously remained closed. They were working with state and local authorities. It's not the first fatal accident to have taken place in the connection with the Raging River ride at this park.
Maybe the Raging River ride needs to be closed down.
According to the Des Moines Register, a 68-year-old Adventureland Park employee, Steve Booher, died in 2016 while working on the ride. He was helping riders get out of the rafts at the end of the ride, and fell onto the conveyor belt.
Oh,
and he
that's
suffered
bad.
a fractured skull along with a major brain injury. He died 4 days later.
Oof.
Iowa's Occupational Safety and Health Administration subsequently fined the theme park $4,500. The maximum. That's the maximum the agency can assess for the type of violation. And like I said, they're obviously investigating. Don't go on the Raging River ride at Adventureland Park.
No. I think in Iowa, just don't do it.
They have those big. I think that's that big, huge park out there.
I've never been out to Iowa.
I haven't either, but I think that
I
water
will
park
never be in Iowa in my entire life.
I have no need to go to Iowa.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I just think of flat. That's what I say. You just see flat.
Well, if you do go,
I won't go.
Do
there.
not go to Adventureland.
I promise. Promise I won't go there. But then you could wail loudly at my funeral.
I could.
So my first Bison Attacks, kind of uneventful. June 20th of this year, 2021. Woman's attacked by bison. Nobody knows why, how, what, where, or when. But she went to the hospital with significant injuries.
Ooh.
But
Well, they're huge.
Well, they're huge.
Yeah.
He just has to look at me. I'm
Yeah.
going to go down. So July 2020, a woman is charged by 2 of them. So 2 bison. Off they go at her.
They're furry and shit.
They're huge.
Oh.
2 people scream at her, play dead. You wouldn't have to say that to me because I would have passed out from fear.
Yeah.
I would have already been dead on the ground. She fucking drops to the ground. One of the bison's like, oh, she's dead. Takes off. He's done. The other one comes right up to her. He's sniffing. He's at her.
Oh, you really did.
Some brave soul picks up a stick, starts beating at the bison. He finally takes off and leaves her alone. She wound up coming out without any kind of injuries or anything like that.
Oh my god.
So that's my uneventful bison.
That, though, is, we talked about it. Do not go near the wild animals.
I think bison was 20 yards away and bears are 100 yards away. And they have a video. A woman just got fined at Yellowstone. They have a video of her basically going up to a grizzly bear because she's a fucking dope. And the bear didn't do anything, but she's going to be fined a significant amount of money for having broken those kind of rules.
Well, because you're going to taunt it. It's going to come after you. Then the bear has to be killed. And
Well, what if you piss him off and he attacks somebody else?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Don't do it.
I mean, there were so many bear attacks. I could have gone on all day.
Yeah.
So I moved on to bison, but they were a little bit uneventful because some of the bison ones are old.
Yeah, there was like one that was like a man goes up to elk during like mating season or whatever, like this summer, and I'm like, but then nothing happened. So yeah.
No, I mean I've seen one where the friggin' bison flips the woman up in the air, like it's crazy.
Don't go near wild animals.
Right. Go for it.
Okay, so we talked about this in an episode recently, like all the old wives' tales.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about swallowing a gum.
Yep.
And what happens.
Yep.
So this is from the nerdist.com. So I'm going to talk about this. This is from September 14th, 2021.
The day after my birthday.
Yeah. It was literally like 2 days ago to this recording.
Because when we have a thread, Mike, Laura, and I, for our Scissors and Scrubs, and we're always sending out like, oh, look at gum. Look what really happens. Oh, look at this person got eaten. Oh, this. We're always sending shit. And I was like, we need to start doing episodes where we just talk about the shit we see. So go ahead.
So this is from Michael Walsh on the nerdist.com. So I'm going to read it to you. Truth at last, we finally know what happens when you swallow gum.
Oh, I'd love to know.
If you listen to the Old Wives' Tale episode, I swallow my gum every time I eat it.
Because we've always heard it's like 7 years to digest or something ridiculous.
So he says, I was like most kids growing up, deathly afraid of accidentally swallowing my gum. It'll stay in your stomach for 7 years. Every child knew that. Like you knew it. And it sounded horrible.
Yeah.
To a youngster, 7 years is like 11 billion years, he says. Obviously, nothing should be in your stomach that long. But was there any truth behind the dire warning? Did gum actually reside inside you for that long? The Institute of Human Anatomy set out to answer that question in its latest video. So they posted this video. The good news is you don't have to worry about that old wives' tale. You just have to worry about something much worse. So
Laura.
Go to the nerdist.com. Watch this video on the swallowing gum. So, yep, and there's a warning. You might need a strong stomach to handle this in-depth look at your insides because it goes inside your stomach. So gum, with its myriad of mysteries about what goes into gum base,
myriad of mysteries,
won't get stuck in your tummy. But as this video that we're talking about explains, that has nothing to do with stomach acid and other enzymes that typically break down food. Gum is impervious to them. Your stomach acid cannot break down
Really?
gum. Yeah.
That's some strong shit because it can take off like the friggin' paint off a car.
I know. It simply moves. It just moves on out of there. The stomach acid does not break it down. Our stomachs, that's what they do. They move everything along. There's all the things in them to get along. So that's what it does. Does not get broken down. The chewy treat will also survive its journey through your small and large intestines. The other organs that contribute juices and bile to break down food are no match for the sticky stuff either.
Wow.
They do not break down gum. Nothing breaks down the gum. Like many foods we eat, gum is indigestible. We eat a lot of things that don't get digested. It comes out whole. Corn.
Tomato
comes
skins.
right out whole. Yeah. Our bodies just can't process the gum. Eventually, gum will work its way out through your
bum
poop chute. And they end up in your stool 2 to 3 days after you swallow
2 to 3 days.
Yeah.
It's like a ring.
As long as you're only swallowing it once in a while, should be fine. Our bodies can handle a piece here or there. But if you put too much in your gut at once, you could end up with a gum Basil.
Oh, Basil. I think of Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Remember when Ron gets the friggin' love potion or something, and then he gets poisoned or something, and he has to grab the Basil and put it into Ron to keep him from dying.
Ew.
Yeah.
He says, it looks like something you could produce if you accidentally swallowed an alien.
Oh.
It's like just a blob.
Mass of gum
that literally looks like the linings of your
and
stomach and your intestinal tract will get stuck because it's so much. Like if you're swallowing it like
every day,
every hour or something, if you're putting enough in there that because it takes 2 to 3 days to get out. If you're putting enough in there that it just builds up. So watch this video. It shows you like the picture of the gum Basil that comes out of this person.
That's disgusting.
So go to nerdist.com.
That's
and
disgusting.
Look at this article and look at this video.
You can occasionally swallow your gum. But
so you can swallow your gum once in a while. I don't chew gum every day, so
if you're chewing like juicy fruit, it loses its flavor in 5 seconds. So you got to keep popping more in.
Yeah, that can be a problem.
Yeah, I love me some juicy fruit.
I love juicy fruit. I used to love that gum, and I can't think of the name of it. And had the juice in the middle.
Oh, it was a bubbly gum?
No, it was square pink.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It had like the little pop of juice in the middle. I cannot think of the name.
I love that gum, and then it lasted for about 10 seconds. All right, so my last story. When we went away this summer, we were in Myrtle Beach, and the house we had was near an amusement park. And at this amusement park was the Slingshot ride, which you guys all know. It's like you're in a little ball cage and seats, and it's held down, and it's on bungees, and it shoots you up in the air at like 75 miles an hour, and the kids were like, we're doing that. At least my kid, my numbnuts was like, I'm going to do that. Okay, gonna do that. And he never did it. Let's just say that, okay? Because when you're standing at the base of that and you watch them get shot up,
it's a lot higher than you
pretty
think.
fucking high.
Yeah.
So literally we're like, we're looking up deaths on this thing. People have flown off, blah, 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 blah. And we come home and I get this story. July 6th, 2021. This is from Fox 29, Philadelphia. Maury's Pier Slingshot in Wildwood, New Jersey. Georgia and her friend Kylie are celebrating her birthday on the Slingshot in this park. They're shot 75 miles an hour into the sky.
Jeez.
And Georgia, there's a video of it again. You can watch it. And I'll tell you what you can look for the title for after I tell you because I don't want to give it away. So Georgia's screaming, and she's so busy screaming she doesn't see Kylie take a fucking seagull to the base. The seagull's just like boom on her face. The girl's like, and she can't even move. And somehow she has the wherewithal, as she's being shot 75 miles an hour in the sky, and the seagull's laying on her face, to get her hands, and she just pushes it off of her face.
She's like, she could lift her hands.
No, she's like, I knew there was no going back. It was just going to hit me. I didn't know what to do. So I just waited for it, like the thing kind of spins over. She waited for it to spin over. I just grabbed it and threw it off of me. Well, both she and the bird were unhurt. He flew off in his merry way.
I can't believe the bird didn't die.
I can't believe she didn't get a head injury or broke a nose.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody was shown, because we were looking up this at work, and somebody's showing me a video. You know who Fabio is, right?
Yeah.
All right. So if you don't know who Fabio is, Look at I can't believe it's not butter commercials, but he was like a model for romance novels.
Yeah.
He had this blonde hair. He's not for me at all, but he had a chiseled body, big Italian, beautiful man. He's on a roller coaster. And he's on a roller coaster with all these girls in white. I don't know why these girls are in white, but there's like 20 girls and they're all in white. And he got hit in the face with a bird and it broke his nose. So
I think I remember that.
I think so. When he pulls back into the station, he's covered in blood. He's dazed. The girl's white dresses are all covered in his nose blood. I was like, oh my! And you could tell he's pissed. Yeah, because he just his face is gone. His face is gone now. So,
oh my god.
Yeah, I
forgot that. I did know that.
Yeah, I would have lost my shit.
Yeah.
I would have lost my shit. And you can see that a lot. Birds hitting you on roller coasters and stuff. You're doing 80 miles an hour. You could take a serious head injury from a bird hitting you in the face.
That would be my living nightmare.
Oh, but all I think of is all the disease on birds.
Oh my god.
They're filthy animals.
Filthy. Ugh. So, and the feathers. Oh my god.
Because the last time we talked about TV shows, I'm going to talk about one now. Okay. So we talked about on another episode how I like going back to traditions. I like going back in time. So on TV, I'm watching Columbo. I love Columbo. It's all set in the 70s. I remember the cars, the rotary phones. I love looking at the outfits, the furniture. I mean, the furniture was awful. I mean, one of the people died. All I could look at him like, that's the coffee table they put in there? Those are the curtains they picked? Those are awful. Like, right. So I started one last night. And it's Leonard Nimoy is a cardiac surgeon. And he's doing a research study. And so the guy he's doing the research study needs a valve replacement. And Leonard Nimoy is going to do it. The nurse that is working with him apparently does everything in the hospital.
That's what a lot of those people do.
She admits him. She gets him into his room. She scrubs the case. She stalks the floor. Like, she does everything. So they're showing you the OR scene. And I have to say, of all the OR scenes I have ever seen, this was pretty good.
Really?
They had the perfusion machine.
Oh.
They had, remember they used to rewash the suction tubing? So they had the old suction tubing, the clamps, even his attitude.
Yeah.
Fucking dead on. Sponges, he called them laps. He didn't ask for.
Wow.
Yes. And they show you him sewing in the valve.
Was there content?
I'll tell you, they did a pretty good job. So the murder is he put the valve in, but whatever suture he used was going to dissolve or something. I haven't gotten there yet. So
was it that nurse?
You see her. Well, at first she was sketchy of him doing the surgery. You can see she's looking at him, and she's forgetting. He'll be like, suture, and you can see her dazing out. And he's like, "What's the matter with you? Where's my suture?" I was like, "This is dead on." So the case is over, and she notices on the floor this suture. And she's looking at it, and he's looking at her, looking at it. She's looking at it, and she's like, I don't think you put the right suture on. I know suture, because back in the 70s, they had needle books with the suture needles in them, and you threaded your own suture. So she would have absolutely been handling the suture. And it hasn't gotten into it more, but basically he clubs her in the parking lot and kills her. Yep. To cover the fact that he's trying to kill this old guy. Because the old guy's still alive at this point. But what's funny, the stuff that's bullshit, he's 2 seconds in, they pull the tube out. But literally you can see they just cut the tube and they just pull the tape off his face. And they send him to the floor, still draped. And then they're all taking their gowns and gloves off with their dirty gloves. And they're walking around the gowns. I'm like, oh my God. But
they got so much right.
They got so much right and so much wrong. Yeah. So now, tonight, I'll probably finish up what happened. Because as much as I love it, the moment it's on, I fall asleep. So I usually have to rewatch it the next day. But I can't. I mean, there's some really good plots.
I mean, I haven't seen it in a million years.
There is some very clever murders in these. I gotta tell you, some of these
like Murder She Wrote too.
Oh, Murder She Wrote, but it's always Murder She Wrote was always the same. You could tell where you were on the show by what was going on.
But it was just I loved. Oh,
I loved Columbo, Quincy. Couldn't get enough of Quincy.
I ever watched Quincy
with Jack Klugman.
I liked what's his name?
Kojak. You were a Kojak girl.
Oh my God, I loved Kojak.
I loved all those old 70s shows. They were just so cheesy. I couldn't get enough.
I mean, I watched them at my grandmother's house.
My mother still watched all that shit.
I was little.
But I can't get enough.
I loved him.
And he's always like,
yes.
One more minute.
He was so stupid and they thought they could pull it over.
Exactly.
We're so smart.
Ma'am, one more question, ma'am, with his weird eye.
Yeah, I know. That eye used to freak
That
me.
weird eye.
Yeah.
All right, so that's our little quickie bonus episode. If you got some funny stories, you ripping from the headlines, send them to us. We'll throw you some more bonus episodes.
Yeah.
And that's that. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Like, subscribe, rate, and review the Scissors and Scrubs podcast on whatever podcast app you listen to us on. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Scissors and Scrubs. And email us any of your stories or thoughts to scissorsnscrubs@gmail.com.